And something I find amazing is in hearing your story is because your parents divorced in high school, and this is such a formidable time for a young person. And you even sharing how, from all that mess, I just want to go far away. And even though doing all of that and getting away from it, you still went into counseling. Like you still wanted to work with the youth, and that's just something that, seeing your entire story, I see that has always been a part of you. That longing, whether you want to or not, you find yourself in these spaces. You find yourself helping out in some kind of capacity with, nonprofits or within the community, even with a church. And so that's a beautiful thing to see. And I love your relentless pursuit towards that calling, that tugging, that feeling, whatever it was, that you continue to pursue that even when you hit a dead end. It might have had a different title, but it was the same thing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Again, just serving, like there's so much behind us as servants. Like, I mean, there's the biblical aspect of it too, but then there's just the personal reward of it too. And that's, and I think probably in the beginning it was more of the personal reward aspect of it than it was the biblical aspect of it. But now I get to pair both.
In the beginning, I had said, every time I see you, you're going left to right. You're always on the move. And now that you're sharing your full story, which thank you for taking us through that whole journey, I'm like, now I completely understand, especially coming from someone who had divorced parents. I too also come from a family of divorce. And then you said you were pursuing psychology and counseling, which is one of the things I would love to get into in my future. But I love that because that means you knew exactly what you're going through, which you can provide the answers and help to other children in the youth or whoever you were meeting. Because, like you said, you develop the heart to serve. Like I love what you said earlier. When you don't see people serve, you get frustrated.
Yeah, I love that.
And we have been learning that leadership does not come naturally to some people. We literally have to teach some people to how to have leadership and how to serve. So thank you for even understanding that. Thank you for taking your pain from pain to purpose and pursuing people's hearts and always on the go. So thank you for doing that. I was curious because in the seasons where things begin or ends for you, because like you went through a lot.
Yes.
How does those impacts get you through mentally? How do you get yourself through it mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
Well, I mean, that's a tough question to ask. I mean, obviously every season's different. I'd say most recently, in the past, it was probably just that's what I had to do. That's what you do as a survivor, right? Like that's just. I mean, change was natural. Like it's okay. This is what it is. Like keep trucking on. Like, but all within my own power and self. I mean, obviously, as I've gotten more rooted and grounded in the Word, um, that the spiritualness has come into it, and God's formed me and changed me to be able to just understand that trials are just a part of life. Like you're not going to avoid them, no matter how much you try to, no matter how much money you have, no matter how good of a leader you are, no matter what job title you hold, you're going to fall into it. You're going to fall into trials and tribulation. And there's always the Rocky saying, you get knocked down 7, you get up 8. That's a great worldly perspective to have, right? Like, and that's what you try to teach your kids, man. It's not how you're gonna lose. You're gonna, trying to teach Timothy this in baseball, like you're gonna lose. You're gonna strike out at the plate. It's okay, but you can't sit in that. Like, and so, a couple of verses in my life that have really started to take hold was, Jeremiah 29:11, where God says, I know, he's about to bring destruction upon him, but he says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for a hope and a future, plans for good and not for evil. In Romans 5:3-5 are some of my favorite verses that say, we glory in our trials because those trials produce perseverance. That perseverance produces character, and that character produces hope. And that hope does not put us to shame because the love of Christ has been poured into our heart through the Holy Spirit who's been given to us. And so there's a purpose behind what we're going through. And that's to endure, and that endurance is to produce a character, and that character is one who does endure. And what does that mean? Well, that next trial that comes is going to be harder, it's going to be longer, it's going to be more formidable. Why? Because you can look back and say, I've already done this. God's already brought me through it, not because I came through it, but because God's brought me through it, because God's given me the ability to endure. He's whatever he's done, like, right, like, what did I when I brought food to the church from the food pantry on Monday, in the midst of the trials that we're going through in the business and personally, it was like, well, at least I know I'll have food provided. No matter what's going to happen right now, like, there's a contact there for me to understand we're going to get fed. And so it gives you this hope that the trial can be endured. And so spiritually, it's kind of that, it's just an understanding, like, yeah, this does suck. This sucks. This is hard. And it's not what I choose, but there's a purpose behind it, and I've tried as long as I've held on to this verse. So many people, people that go through cancer, people that lose children, and I know it's not comforting in the moment to hear it, but they're always asking why. And God's given us the why. Like, to me, like, that's what that set of verses is. He's given us the why. And so you can use that story to say, look what I've been through. And it's not to say what I've done, but what God's brought me through. And why has he brought me through it? So I have a hope that the next trial that comes, I can endure it again. And then if I can endure it, I can point you to the one who's got me to endure it as well. And that's really the impact of it, is like, man, God has carried me through so much. Like, it's not because I'm good. It's not because he loves me more than anybody else. It's just that he's continued to carry me through as we've built our faith, as we've continued to dive into his word, as we've continued to serve him. He's been faithful to his promises to say, I will carry you through.